This is Coach Chris Holtman. You're listening to Drive the Lane podcast.
Drive the Lane podcast is coming to you live from sports hell after the Ohio State football team goes down. The Ohio State basketball team goes down. The Browns go down. For Joey, his beloved Bears won, but the season was a season from hell. But we are here to give you our awards for the football season. We're here to talk about, yes, officially basketball season. We break down the game. We take some callers from fans. We answer some questions from fans. And you guessed it, we buckle up and we drive the lane. Before we get to all that, you need to go to highstreettees.com/DTL right now. Use promo code DTL15 to get 15% off all of your purchases, all of your shirts, all of your mugs, all of your frosty glasses. Why have you not gone to High Street Tees yet? We don't know. We go every day. You should be on highstreettees.com/DTL every single day. They are the official sponsor of the Drive the Lane podcast. They are the official, it's officially basketball season sponsor of the Drive the Lane podcast. We are fired up in a bad way after some bad losses, and we're going to give it all to you right now. Buckle up and drive the lane. Let's do this. 45 minutes of anger. Buckle up and drive the lane.
Watching me counting the numbers, keeping the counting you under. Sleeping on me is a slumber.
Okay, we're here. Drive Lane Podcast. We are putting on a brave face. We are troopers.
We are powering through.
We are brought to you by High Street Tees and Threes. We love them. They are positive, bright spots in our lives. But yeah,
the only bright spots in our lives.
We are sad. We expected this episode to be very, very, very positive. And now it's going to be a little negative. So if we come off negative, it's because we're sad.
We're very sad. But we're also very happy because sometimes when the team does bad, more people want to hear some hot takes.
Yeah, no, if people are out there listening because they want to hear us suffer, that's awesome. That means they're listening. So,
hot off the press, I want to give you my hottest take that I've come up with.
Is it a hot, acidic take?
It is spicy hot.
Yeah, let's hear it.
The number 2 curse, okay, that I came up with. The number 2 curse, all right? In the last 2 days, Ohio State
That's the first two.
That's the first 2. Ohio State has 2 losses.
Second 2.
That's the second 2, okay? Both teams, when their losses came, were ranked number 2
Third two.
in the country, okay? J.K. Dobbins, phenomenal game, but he dropped how many touchdown passes?
2.
2.
Fourth 2.
Wait, what number is he?
I think he's 2.
He's number 2.
Fifth.
Okay.
2.
And Chase Young, who hasn't had a sack in 58 quarters, basically didn't make a big impact last night. What number is he?
He's number 2.
He's number 2. And I just came up with this one that I'm going to add. What is he going to get drafted in the NFL draft?
Maybe 1.
Not
2.
after 8 touchdown Joey.
2.
2. The curse of 2.
Who's number 2 in Ohio State basketball?
Is there? He said Ohio State.
You know who was number 2?
Who?
Mark Loving.
The curse of number 2
gosh.
is real.
It's real.
It's real. The curse of number 2 is real.
The Packers are the 1 seed?
Yeah.
Sorry, we're breaking news. Freddie Kitchens just got
The
fired.
Packers are the 1 seed, and we know that the Saints will not win because the Saints are the 2 seed. If Ohio State is a 2 seed in March Madness, I'm not even going to watch the games. They will be upset by the 15 seed if they're a 2
You know who
seed.
the 15 seed will be? Ohio
Clemson.
University. It's Clemson.
Okay. We'll give you a quick – we'll talk about the game a little bit because we talk about it when we answer our questions, talk about it when we take calls. I've said this over and over again. Joey is going to reiterate it, but through the bad calls, through field goals instead of touchdowns, through Ryan Day going for 2 or going for 1 instead of 2.
What if he went for 2? It's the curse of 2.
The curse of 2.
So we're good.
At the end of the day, you had the ball driving on the opponent's 28-yard line, 45 seconds left, with a chance to win the game and put all that other bullshit away. You have to take advantage of the moments when they're there. I have a friend who's a Georgia fan, and I say this. I do not think you guys will ever win a national championship. You were knocking on the door, and you have to take advantage of the moments when they are there. And this is not to say that Ohio State will not be back next year. This is not to say that Ohio State won't win a championship in the next 5 years. But you're knocking on the door to get to the championship game. You got to take it because you never know when you're going to be there again. As we've seen, this is the first time that they really had a chance in the playoff since they won last time.
Yeah. The way I'm choosing to look at it, because I'm a positive guy, is if you told me before the game that we had a chance with 2 minutes left, 2-minute drill, drive down the field and win.
Oh, my God. How many minutes left?
2.
2.
It was less than 2, though. It was like 1:58 or something.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're going to take that. So, like, it was all out there in front of us. It was under our own control. I mean, Ohio State beat Ohio State. Like, Clemson was not the better team last night. But sometimes that's why sports are so crazy. There were plenty of games in my college career that I lost or that I won being the worst team or having no business winning the game. Just like we lost games like Penn State my junior year. Penn State was not better than us, but they beat us 3 times.
Yeah.
Sports
West
are just
Virginia
crazy.
is not better than us.
Yeah, sports are just crazy. I mean, we'll shift gears to basketball in a second. But, yeah, I just Ohio State, obviously, you guys know the fumble that was an incomplete pass was clearly a fumble. I just don't get that. The targeting was a 50-50 call. I guess by rule it was targeting, but we get into that. There should be 2 different targetings. And then the running into the kicker was huge, too. No one's talking about that enough. But that's just Ohio State on Ohio State crime. So it stinks, but if you stick to the end, I talk about this. It's a good problem to have if your team is losing as the number 2 seed in the playoff and the number 2 seed as in the NCAA for basketball. So we're Ohio State fans. We still got it pretty good.
Before we get to basketball talk, this season was incredible for football, and we would be foolish. Idiots. We would be foolish to not talk about the positives. Speaking of which, coming out tomorrow, my story on Lettermen Row, the top 10 moments of the decade. You'll want to read that. You'll remember all the moments. But back to what we were saying, we're going to give away some awards for football season. Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, X Factor, stuff like that. Maybe we'll come up with some on the spot. But Joey, first things first.
On the realist. First things first on the realist.
MVP of the Ohio State season. Who's the MVP?
It's Justin Fields.
Justin Fields?
Who do you say? 40 touchdowns and 1 interception. That's pretty remarkable. And he was the engine of this whole team. And if without him, he was the tilting between a bad season and a great season. If he was bad, it's a bad season. If he's awesome, it's an awesome season like it was. So my MVP, Justin Fields.
And we'll say this too: if Fields doesn't come in, Tate Martell's a starter, and he does not bring an Ohio State team. Chris Chugginoff is starting by the end of the year if Tate Martell starts the season.
We don't need to talk about that. But yeah, my offensive MVP, Justin Fields, and it's not very close for me, even though J.K. Dobbins is awesome.
My offensive MVP is J.K. Dobbins because if you look at he broke the rushing record, single season rushing record.
That's a big deal, yeah.
And if you look at
second halves.
Fields has huge shoes to fill with Haskins last year, and Barrett the year before, and Braxton Miller, Cardale Jones. So it's just
Joe Burrow.
It was this Joe Burrow. I think Dobbins was just such a leg up on like Mike Weber. He's the best running back since Zeke, which was only a couple years ago, but still, I think you can make the case that he's the best. Statistically, you can make the case he's the best Ohio State running back of all time.
Yeah.
I just think he's the offensive MVP. If you look at the stats from the
What if they're both back? Oh, my gosh.
If they're both back, they could make the playoff, dude. But, yeah, I'm going with Dobbins, my offensive MVP.
I mean, both correct answers, I would say.
Defensive MVP.
Chase Young's the easy answer. So besides Chase Young.
Okay. I wasn't going to say Chase Young.
Ooh.
I was going to say Oklahoma money line.
We should definitely get, yeah. But I'll go Jordan Fuller. He was the brains behind everything. He's my buddy. It's not so I gotta go with him. Obviously he had a huge play last night, which literally made him. But he obviously people like the announcers talked about it. He was the brains behind the operation. He was the leader on defense. Obviously in the secondary we were terrible last year and we were awesome this year. I think he was a huge, huge part of that.
Another huge part of that, Okudah.
I had a feeling you'd say him, so I wanted to.
Yeah. If Chase Young, so I wasn't going to say Chung. I was going to say Chase Young regardless. If Chase Young plays those 2 games he's suspended, he not only maybe wins the Heisman, but he's obviously the defensive MVP of this team. But when you miss 2 games, it's hard to, be the quote-unquote MVP. So I'm giving it to Okudah, and because we dare to be different and leave Chase Young out of our awards list.
And because if we and he's number 2, so you're cursed by picking J.K. Dobbins.
But,
could have been doubly cursed.
Or
maybe they cancel out.
Next award, X Factor. I have 2 names for this. X is 2 lines through each other.
So one line is going to be someone and one line is someone else?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll trade off.
Okay.
First, I'll go Chris Olave.
Okay. Olave.
You got to finish it.
Auto parts.
Yeah, Olave, just because he was the big play threat. He was great on special teams. He blocked punts, downed punts, caught touchdowns, was the best receiver this year, and did it all as a very humble dude. So I'll go first X Factor. I'll go with him.
Okay, my first X Factor. We'll do it a snake. I'll just say my first one, Chase Young, because of the reasons we just talked about. Okay, if Chase Young gets a sack last night like he should have, who knows? Maybe it changes the whole game. And it really didn't matter until last night. But you would have liked the eventual number 2 or number 3, number 1 pick to have a couple sacks last night. And we tweeted that picture. His face mask was being pulled off his head during the game, and stuff wasn't being called. So it's not all his fault, but Chase Young, definitely a season X Factor. And X Factors usually, when they don't do what they're supposed to, you lose the game, which is what I think happened last night.
Yeah, your X Factor makes way for my X Factor, who is Davon Hamilton.
Okay.
Nose guard. The most untalked about. Is untalked about a word? Not talked about, whatever. Underappreciated.
Underappreciated is a good word.
Underappreciated guy on this defense and maybe even the team. It's funny because back in my junior year, this was 3 football seasons ago now.
Okay.
Dockich, when he came over as the 9th year senior he was.
12th year senior.
When we're sitting first row at the 50-yard line, not to brag, that those were tickets for the football team. He goes, "Who is 53? That's the biggest man I've ever seen." And this was when he wasn't getting any playing time. And I was like, I don't know the guy. And then fast forward, he's one of the best players on defense. I just think it's awesome. I think that he'll do great in the Senior Bowl and be playing on Sundays, which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And he's from Columbus. So
future guest, maybe?
Sure. I don't know. I don't know him at all. But
my other X Factor, which is definitely a future guest, Drew Chrisman.
Yeah.
The weapon of a punter is just so important. There were so many possessions, even last night, where Clemson started the game backed up, where teams started the game backed up, and the Buckeye defense benefited a lot, and offense, from Drew Chrisman being the punter. So he's my second X Factor.
Yeah, that's just a big time X Factor. I agree. Field position, the game within the game, and he's a big part in flipping fields and flipping bottles.
My final award that I'll suggest we do is biggest thing to look forward to for next year.
Justin Fields Heisman.
Let's just throw a bunch out for this.
Yeah, Justin Fields Heisman. Chase Young comes back.
No,
Dobbins comes
real
back.
Real ones. Dobbins could come back. I think Garrett Wilson is a big exciting thing to watch for next year because he was one of the best receivers in the country this year as a true freshman. Something people don't know, Cameron Babb and Elijah Gardner, both injured this year, wide receivers, just more weapons coming back for the Buckeyes. Maybe Master Teague can get more than 1 or 2 yards per carry.
I don't know what you're talking. He's like second or third team All Big Ten.
He has the second most rushing yards in the Big Ten.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so no. I think the easiest thing to look forward to is that we have a great coach. we have great recruits, and we have great players still. We have one of the most talented rosters in football still. So if you might be upset now, but the future is so, so bright. I mean, Ryan Day, oh my God, he is a superstar. So that's what you got to look forward to, I'd say.
And
We're gonna do it all
right
again.
now, you have basketball season to look forward to
Right now.
because it is officially basketball season. The Buckeyes lost today to West Virginia, giving them their West Virginia 22nd 2-2s. Obviously, they were going to lose that game. Okay, that was a given. They now have their how many losses this season? 2.
I didn't want to say it.
Okay, but Joey, what do we have to look forward to from this point moving forward for the Ohio State basketball team?
Still one of the best teams in the country. That's not even like Minnesota was an off night. That's not today's not an off day because the game was a day game. It's not an off day because that's what West Virginia does, and we can win ugly, but it's just it's hard to overcome some of the stuff that was going. It's just a weird game. So do not fret as an Ohio State basketball fan. There's so much parity in college basketball this year. It's fine. Whatever, a weird game that we should have won that we didn't. In 2 weeks we'll win at Michigan State in a game where Cassius Winston scores, 3 points. So college basketball is just weird like that. So
I'm excited to see the Big Ten teams beat each other up. Big Ten basketball is fun, and we're about to be in the heat of Big Ten basketball.
Oh boy, are we? Yeah, I still think that Michigan is good. Ohio State obviously is very good. Michigan State will come around, I think, and I just don't see Maryland being awesome. But beyond that, I just don't think that there's any other, elite teams. But it should be fun. I think college basketball is going to be awesome, and obviously the Bucks are very, very good still. And I kind of like I don't like when they lose these games, but it's cool to see how they'll bounce back. So it'll be interesting because now we play Wisconsin. Now it's Big Ten basketball. So and we play a certain guy in Wisconsin who may or may not have left the team the day before our first game my senior year. So
is he playing though?
Yeah. So
he got cleared?
I mean, he's
it's like the time of the year.
Yeah, he's eligible now. So trust me, they'll want to win that game and they'll want to win it by 100. So Ohio State basketball is so fine. So fine. It's almost good that they lost that game now because no one was paying attention to it because they were all dwelling on the Clemson loss. So it's good. Get that out of the way, and now let's go run the table and win a Big Ten championship.
I would love to win a Big Ten championship in basketball and football. That'd be a very complete 2019/2020.
Make it into the Final Four in both. Yeah. That'd be nice too.
Would be very nice. You hear in our questions, our keys. In our next segment, we answer questions. We take phone calls. You hear what we think it'll take for the Buckeyes to get to the Final Four. You hear a little more on our thoughts about some controversial calls that went the wrong way. We kind of cover all of it. We may start taking people's calls more often. It's kind of a fun thing to do.
It was fun. But before we do that, what holiday's approaching, Andrew?
New Year's.
And what do you do on New Year's besides act like you're going to be healthy?
You make New Year's resolutions.
So you asked me what some awards, so I'm going to ask you, what is your New Year's resolution? Because I know what mine is.
My New Year's resolution is to not try to be different to the point that it loses me money. For example, I knew that LSU was going to fucking pound Oklahoma. And I thought to myself, be different. Pick Oklahoma. When they win, you get to gloat about it. And then not only did I lose money, but I lost the trust of the listeners.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that we can take away your expert card because you got both games wrong. So
I did get both games wrong.
If you are picking these sports games, you're not allowed to get any wrong, let alone all of them wrong. So you've lost your expert card. I mean, people gave me backlash about my list, but that's opinions. You were picking facts, and they didn't happen.
Yeah, and I will own the
better own it.
Dumb Oklahoma pick.
Yeah,
it was stupid.
Dumb brains.
It was stupid, but Oklahoma will be back next year.
And I'll bet on
And
them
the
again.
streak will live of Oklahoma playoff blowouts. Joseph, what is your New Year's resolution?
Oh, mine is to become a great golfer. It's my new sport. I'm a very competitive person, and without the, it's not necessary that I wake up every single day to work out and be in great shape and be a great basketball player. Now it's like, all right, let's shift it all to trying to be the best golfer I can be. So 2020 is the year of the handicap. Going to try and knock that thing down, and because being a good golfer can take you to some fun places, and I'm just a competitive guy, so I want to be a better golfer. And go on a date with Allie Raisman. That'd be nice too. I think we get into that
We do get into that. All right. Well, we now will get to some questions, some phone calls.
God, I felt like we were so sad that whole time.
And some sadness.
And some more sadness. But stay with us because this is.
We'll be happy in the next episode, we promise.
We'll be happy in this next segment because we had a lot of fun talking about it. So, okay, and boom.
Buckle up and drive the lane, take phone calls, and answer questions. You're on the Drive the Lane podcast. Who are we talking to?
Hey, this is CC from upstate New York. How you doing?
What's up, CC? How you feeling today, my man? It's a sad, sad day.
Oh my God, depressing day. My question is the interception, right? If they threw that ball and it was in the end zone, that would have been a touchdown all day, correct? I mean, he has 2 feet down. He established contact with the ball. He's holding the ball away from the defender. Is that not a football move or?
CC, this is Joey. I am with you 110,000%. The one takeaway I have from that game is that should have been a fumble. I think the other stuff, maybe that's Ohio State, like a mistake, but that was something that wasn't in their control that went wrong, and I think I agree with you. The fact that he took 4 steps with the ball and then it was knocked loose, I don't know how that's not a fumble, but hey, you play with the cards that you were dealt with. We still got the ball and scored on that possession, but it's weird because you say refs don't decide games, but when they take points off the board, it's kind of them deciding the game. So I'm with you.
That was a huge play, and the Sean Wade play. I mean, that Clemson quarterback 6'6". He did duck into the hip, but you could just feel the momentum. After that, the momentum definitely shifted, and it was the concussion protocol. I guess was a little questionable for me as well. The kid's laying on the floor or on the turf, in pain. He's out for one play, comes right back in. So I don't know, just. Last night's game just seemed a little mysterious to me, but, we definitely shot ourselves in the foot with those field goals in the first quarter. We got to score touchdowns, and like Urban Meyer said, if you don't score touchdowns, you're not going to win the game. So,
yep, absolutely, man. Thanks for calling in.
All right, appreciate it. See you.
With what he said about the targeting call with Sean Wade, my opinion on that is that the call in general, there needs to be 2 kind of levels to the call.
100,000%.
There needs to be malicious targeting, where the player
we call it malicious targeting.
where the player is malicious and tries to target, and then there needs to be incidental contact, where it's a personal foul. It's a penalty, 15-yard penalty, but it's not an ejection.
Yeah, how can that play result in someone getting ejected? If you're unbiasedly, it's really hard to be unbiased, obviously, when, we are Ohio State fans through and through, but how can a tackle like that, the dude is a heat-seeking missile, all he's thinking about is sacking the quarterback. It's not like a defenseless receiver. He's just thinking sack the quarterback, and the dude is bracing himself. So what do you do when you brace yourself? You huddle over a little bit, you hunch over, whatever. How can that result in an ejection? I don't know. I totally agree. If there should be a 15-yard penalty is a huge deal in the course of a game too. So you don't want to do that to your team, but at least you can keep playing.
All right, we're getting another call, so we'll take it right now. Yo, you're on the Drive the Lane podcast.
Boy, what an absolute blessing. I'd just like to start by saying I've been a fan since the Go Local podcast days. So can't say I'm been more excited about something in a long time.
All right, man. Thanks for calling in. What do you want to talk about?
Well, you know what? I actually was at the game last night, and I just had a couple of thoughts on it. One, as you would expect, Ohio State out-traveled Clemson about 70-30. And so,
That's the real victory. So,
yeah, right. So at the start of the game, it was a pretty electric feeling. I was in the Ohio State fan section. We were driving early, making stops on defense, and things were going our way. But as you break it down and you watch the game and you think about it, ultimately we lost the game because we couldn't put it away when we had our opportunities. Multiple red zone. In our 5 red zone trips, we ended with 3 field goals, a touchdown, and a pick. And frankly, you just can't do that. That's unacceptable. All 3 of the field goals were in goal-to-goal situations. And, you talk about the first field goal, we passed on first down when some may say, run the ball and get some more yards, which is fine. But ultimately our lack of aggression, and B, our inability to put the ball in the end zone early and keeping Clemson in the game really shoehorned us into the loss. You'd love to blame the refs, but you shoot yourself in the foot enough times, nothing the refs did could really save you.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally.
You got anything else for us?
Yeah, that was a good recap of the game. Jason, thanks for calling in. But yeah, that's just that sums it up perfectly. If you put the game away early like they should have, similar to what LSU did, then you don't even need to worry about the refs. You don't even need to worry about going for 2 when you should have gone for 1. If you put the game away, you put the game away.
Yeah, it all boils down to kind of it was Ohio State's fault. Like you kind of said, if we score touchdowns instead of kick field goals, the game is maybe it's out of reach at halftime, which, probably not, but maybe it is. And then obviously, it just keeps coming back to momentum is such a huge thing in sports, especially in college sports. And, we just lost all the momentum with whether it was a bad call, a missed call, targeting, ejections, drop passes. It's just, a lot of it ended up being self-inflicted, like the roughing the kicker, like roughing the punter or whatever. That's a self-inflicted ruin, as frustrating as it is.
Yeah, so. It was frustrating. Of course, we're taking more calls as we're doing this. Keep the calls coming in. The game started off feeling like it was similar to the team of destiny, the Ohio State 2014 team of destiny. Dobbins was running like Zeke. Fields was playing great. The defense was looking great against a team that is supposed to have an offense that can beat Ohio State's defense. And it did not end how it started.
It just stinks because, and this is, my mom was just, you look up heartbroken in the dictionary. My mom last night and today, just so sad. We both agreed, kind of my whole family, we agreed, we all felt like we woke up and we were hungover. And none of us were drinking last night. It's just like a mental hangover from that game. And it's just mostly comes back to the fact that we were probably the better team. Ryan Day said it in his interview with Big Ten Network after the game, when you're playing such a great team like Clemson, LSU, even like Wisconsin, some of those other teams, you need to have some of those game-changing, momentum-swinging plays, and we had none of them, and Clemson had a few of them, and that's what the difference is in these gigantic games. So, it wouldn't hurt so bad if I didn't think we were the better team, and we played pretty crummy, honestly, it seemed like, and we still had a chance to win on the final drive, and if Olave goes right instead of going left, we could be talking about how awesome Ohio State is.
It was such an anticlimactic ending, too, because it's not like it was the last play. There was still 45 seconds left, so in a perfect world, Olave goes the right way, they get a touchdown, and they stop Clemson. But in a... we got another call coming in. You're on the Drive the Lane podcast.
Good. So, Clemson, so they're not a good team, and
I couldn't have said it better myself. We were just talking about that.
Yeah, that sounded like a little kid.
It's not fair to say they're not a good team. They are a good team.
Right.
They're probably a great team, but I still think we were better.
I think that little kid got a little starstruck calling into the Drive the Lane podcast.
if you're listening now, guys, next time we do it, if you've ever really wanted to talk to Andrew Zolden, now is the best chance to do it. So
Definitely. But what were we talking about before we got interrupted by that kid?
I was just talking about how it's more frustrating because I thought Ohio State was the better team, even though we sucked.
Oh, and I was saying in a perfect football world, that's just an incomplete pass. The Buckeyes keep driving, and we get like a last-second play.
The way I first of all, the playoffs are getting announced right now, and Tennessee playing New England, like I think the Titans could win.
Okay, back to our playoffs.
Yeah, I think like David Miller, one of my roommates from school, was talking about it in our group chat. The fact that Justin Fields hasn't thrown interceptions, like he threw one the whole year and then 2 last night. So when he throws a pass deep down the field, you just assume the guy is open. So like everyone was like, oh, it's another Chris Olave touchdown from Justin Fields and saves the day yet again. But
I said before the playoff, he's a little JT Barrett-y, where you think, like you just said, he doesn't throw interceptions, but sometimes the runner's got to be open for him to complete the throw. But last night, I think he shattered my – we got another call coming in.
Oh, my God. You guys are the best.
You're on the Drive the Lane podcast. Who are we talking to?
My name's Braddock, and my question for you was, what was your favorite basketball memory from school?
Joey, I think
Andrew, you want to take this one?
Joey,
okay.
That's going over to you.
What's up, man? Wow. Okay, shifting gears. It is basketball season now. My favorite memory, maybe a little recency bias, but when we upset Iowa State my senior year in the NCAA tournament, that was pretty awesome. Just because the fact that we, first of all, weren't really supposed to be in the tournament because we were, picked to be not very good and stuff. That was a win in itself. And then when we got to play a team like Iowa State, instantly a lot of us had a lot of confidence in going into that game, and then pulling out that win in front of a very, very packed Iowa State crowd felt like a road game. It was really, really awesome. So that's probably my favorite memory.
Cool. Thanks, Joey.
Yeah, you got it, man. Have a good one.
You too.
Thanks.
All right. That might have been the same kid.
Might have been the same kid, but that was
either way. You just made his year.
Very thoughtful question, and a little bit of a shifting gears from what we were talking about. But yeah, Ohio State basketball has given me some great memories. Ohio State football has given me some great memories. But this weekend wasn't the weekend to be an Ohio State basketball or football fan.
You're on the Drive the Lane podcast.
Is this Joey Lane?
This is Joey Lane and Andrew Zolden. You got it.
No way.
No way, dude. Who are we talking to?
My name's Brendan Kerr.
Is this the Brendan Kerr?
Yeah.
Dude, this is the best day ever.
Wait, so you guys just like run this podcast?
Yeah, man. we got a little podcast going. You want to ask us a question?
Yeah, I was like, what happened last night? That was absurd.
Yeah, I mean that's a
man. Yeah, LSU really took it to him. Stinks.
Yeah, I just don't think Oklahoma's defense was just not ready. Is that the game?
I was talking about the fumble.
Oh, the Ohio State game.
The Ohio State game.
Breaking news for you, Brendan. The Browns have fired Freddie Kitchens. You care about that?
Really?
Yeah, breaking news on the show.
You want to break the news? Here, you break the news, Brendan. We're on the podcast.
Yeah, break the news. Read it to us.
All right. Breaking news: Freddie Kitchens was fired by the Cleveland Browns following their Week 17 loss to the Bengals.
Oh man, no way! Are you a Browns fan, Brendan?
I am.
So, what do you think about that firing?
I'm quite disappointed with that. I'm not gonna lie.
You're a Freddie guy, or you're just disappointed in the fact that they hired them in the first place?
No, I'm a Freddie guy. I think he did well in his short tenure. But
what? Are you crazy?
Andrew's so I'm a Bears fan. He's a Browns fan, so he might take it to you real quick. So hold on.
Brendan, I got to disagree with you completely, man. Nick Chubb, the rushing leader, he gets the carries, doesn't get him in the right positions. You see Odell today looked amazing. where's that been all season? Baker, amazing last year, terrible this year. I could go, the list goes on and on and on, Brendan. My guy. I am thrilled that Freddie is fired. And in terms of what happened,
thrilled.
In terms of what happened in the game last night, to answer your question about that, the fumble, we agree it should have been a fumble. It should have been a touchdown. If that's in the end zone, it's called a touchdown. But we also think this. If the game is on the line and the ball is in your hands, everything else goes out the door. You had a chance to win. You have to take advantage of it.
I would agree with that.
Yeah,
and I respect your stamp on the Freddie Kitchens.
All right, thank you, man. Thanks for calling in. Make sure you're following on Twitter and Instagram.
Of course.
You're the man, Brendan.
You are the man as well, Joey. And what was the other one?
And Andrew.
Andrew.
Not the same level, though, clearly.
All right, see you, man. Thanks. I personally, Joey's a Bears fan, but I right now am in sports hell between Ohio State football yesterday, Ohio State basketball today, which really, whatever, it's not that bad. It's just one game in the regular season on a neutral court in the state of Ohio. But
but against they're
right.
more West Virginia fans.
They should be higher ranked than 22 also, which they will
stink,
be.
But it's okay.
But I'm also a Browns fan, and they lost today to the Bengals. Bulls are the Bulls. They somehow are fourth in defensive rating, but last.
We have the worst coach in the NBA.
So I am in sports hell, and I went 0 for 3 this weekend, and I'm in sports hell. So yeah,
but I mean, if you did gamble, did you have a good week gambling?
I had a good week, not sports gambling, but I had a good week at the casino.
That's good. Yeah, I don't gamble, but if I
Me
did,
neither. I was just.
If I did, I would say that I've been hot lately, but I would just say that just because it's fun to say.
God,
now
I cannot believe they lost that game last
night. Yeah, we did talk about this, me and Andrew, before we got on and started recording, but we did have a rough week. Obviously, I would trade Ohio State winning that game 10 times out of 10 for the Bears losing today. I mean, they were playing for nothing. But, yeah, Ohio State, Ohio State basketball lost, obviously. Ohio State football lost, obviously. And the Bears won today against the Minnesota backups, which was a heck of a win. But if we want to be positive, we can be positive. I played golf today. It's December 29th. Played 18 holes.
We're in Chicago.
You
should not be golfing on December 29th.
Of course
it's crazy.
Not. I almost had a hole-in-one. It hit the flagstick and ended up being like 5 feet away from the hole. The divot was like right next to the holes. Wild stuff. I pulled a couple muscles in my back golfing because I haven't golfed
You're old.
In a couple weeks.
You're officially old.
I mean, I'm washed up. Not old. Just washed up.
Older.
I mean, yeah. Just got older again. I mean, Tiger didn't win AP Male Athlete of the Year, which is insane. I don't know how he didn't win that.
Who won, Kawhi?
Yeah. How does Tiger Woods not win?
I don't know.
He won the Masters after being out. I mean, whatever. This is not the place to talk about that. Speaking of golf, Allie Raisman posted a video of her golfing today, which made me fall deeper in love with her. So, Allie, if you're listening.
Is she your dream podcast get?
No, she's better than that. She's just my celebrity crush. If she came on the podcast, that'd be awesome. But I don't know if that's quite our style.
No, not our style.
Can you imagine us asking her funny questions?
She'd laugh.
She'd laugh, and then she'd be like, "Okay, 5 minutes left. How much time we got?" Yeah,
Speaking of questions, you posted on Twitter for people to ask you questions, and we would answer them.
Yeah. Shall we do that?
We shall do that. Before we get to that, the official game day bar of Ohio State is 3s above high.
You have 8 months to get ready and get ready to go back there for football season.
You can now go there exclusively. The Browns season is over.
Goodbye.
The Buckeye football season is over.
See you later.
It's now the exclusive drive lane bar for basketball because it's basketball season. All right, go there and watch the basketball games. Get some 3s shirts from High Street Tees. It's just the place to go. It's the place to go for sports, for food, for drinks, if you're over the age of 21. And if you weren't there for the playoff game, then it's your fault that they lost.
Give a quick shout out to Zachary Roth for being at my house and showing up when we were up 16-0, and then
bad luck.
And then from then on,
bad luck. God
So it's all on you if you don't go to threes.
Yeah, you should be watching every game at threes. And if you didn't watch the football game there, you probably didn't watch the basketball game that they lost today too. There,
so it's double your fault.
You need to start going to threes for all the games.
Yeah, that is a requirement. That's not a request.
It's a requirement.
It's an order.
All right, Joey, what you got?
All right, let's read some questions. First one, do we want to say who they're from?
No.
Okay. First one is, why?
That's it?
Just why? My answer, beyond why not, is because they called it an incomplete pass and not a fumble.
Yeah, that's a good why. My why is because Olave thought he was scrambling and he really was just stepping up in the pocket.
Okay.
I like how we kind of interpreted that however we wanted.
Oh, you want to know another why? Because West Virginia really mucks up the game, and that's how they win, and they always beat a really good team every year doing that, so nothing to be worried about.
Want to know another why?
Sure.
Because he's made them in games before and proven that he can make that shot, so I still want Caleb Wesson taking threes despite West Virginia giving him the open threes.
That brings up our next question. What's your take on skinny Caleb Wesson, the perimeter player, versus fat Caleb Wesson, the dominant post player? Okay, I'm going to read this one. His name is Chris Williams. Chris, Caleb Wesson is one of the best players in the country. He will score one-on-one with any player in the country in the post, and he's also one of the best three-point shooters in the country. So,
that's a take.
I mean, he is. You can relax with the skinny versus fat. Caleb's in better shape. He can play more games. He fouls less because he's skinny. He's a way better player because he's skinny. On top of that, he can still score in the post, and he has been scoring in the post. But if he's wide open for three, that's a great shot for our team, for him individually, and he works so hard on that. Why would he not shoot it? So, Chris, thank you for your question. Skinny Caleb Wesson is better than fat Caleb Wesson. Don't get it twisted. Do not get it twisted.
I think also a lot of people think because his stats are down and his scoring isn't quite what they thought it would be. The team has way more scoring options than it did
exactly.
his first 2 years.
Feeding him. Now it's like he's not a decoy, but he's just like he's the number one option on a great team versus the number one option on a good team.
Yeah.
And that's what happens.
Next question.
Next question is, why do I cringe when Luther shoots? It's funny because we used to make fun of Luther for his jump shot because it does look funny, but he's making shots. And if him and those other wings like Andre and Dwayne and the list goes on, are making open threes, like that takes our team to a whole nother level. So don't cringe when he shoots. Be excited when he shoots. Mm-hmm. This is a two-part question. The next question has nothing to do with the first part. Also, what's your take on an SEC officiating crew being assigned to the game when both the SEC and the ACC networks are owned by ESPN? Let's get out ahead of this. Ohio State fans, let's be bigger than some other fan bases and not try and think of these crazy conspiracies as to why we lost the game. I do think the refs blew it. They blew that call, a couple calls maybe, but that happens all the time, and it has nothing to do with the fact that they're SEC and the game's on ESPN and playing an ACC team. Like that's you're connecting too many of the dots. Ohio State shot themselves in the foot way too many times, and that's the reason why they lost. My take on that happening is it's probably just a obscure coincidence, but refs are refs.
We've talked about this. Hardest. We've talked about this also. What do you want, like Pac-12 refs who don't see good football when they ref? What do you want, a group of 5 ref? I'm taking an SEC ref all day.
Yeah, sure. As long as it's not an SEC.
And did you see the refs that didn't call that pass interference in the Oklahoma game?
Yeah, that was terrible.
I think they were Big Ten refs.
Yeah,
so
and why would you, I just don't. What I don't understand is why people think that SEC refs want the SEC to win. Like, why they don't care.
The SEC wasn't even in the game,
and they're reffing because they clearly don't have any bias. Like, I don't understand why people want to be refs. I don't get that because I love teams and I could never ref fairly. But clearly, if you're a ref, you're reffing fairly, and they're not like they don't get a bonus for the SEC team winning the national championship. No. Okay, whatever. Next question. How do the Buckeyes bounce back from their loss against Clemson next year? Easy. I mean,
dumb.
Yeah,
easy.
The expectation is to get to the playoff every year. The expectations next year will be to get to the playoff again and win, hopefully. how do they bounce back? They do exactly what they do every single offseason. No team works harder, and no team is coached better. I mean, Coach Ryan Day proved that he's incredible other than some things. But, I mean, clearly there's a game plan. Like the fact that they were running on or throwing on first down in the red zone all the time, I think they were just waiting to get the chance to have some kind of designed run to win the game and stuff, which kind of Clemson kind of did. They did the opposite. How do they bounce back? They do what they do.
It's not really bounce back. They didn't lose in the Big Ten championship and miss the playoff. They still missed the playoff and lost in the last 30 seconds. It's not. They'll be fine. And Justin Fields has to come back. Dobbins, who knows what he's going to do? Chase Young's probably going to be gone. They're going to have to fill holes, obviously, and that's not always a bad thing because. If someone's replacing Chase Young or replacing Dobbins, these are guys that didn't necessarily taste the success as much as the rest of the team.
And they're hungry. So even though you're going to
even though you're going to downgrade with whoever you replace, I mean, I personally hope it's not Master Teague, but
that's not Teague. Why? You don't like Master Teague?
He's not. He's a good 1 yard guy. He's not going to break one off.
He runs very hard. I like Master Teague.
But whoever they replace him with, Dobbins and Chase Young, they're going to be hungry to get back there and be the reason why. So no worries. The Buckeyes will bounce back, and they will be in the playoff again next year.
This is another two-part question, and the next one has to do with Ohio State basketball. That's why I kind of cut it off. So this one is, what are the OSU basketball teams he's missing a word. What are the odds the OSU basketball team gets to the Final Four? What does it take for them to do that? What are the odds? There's an 8% chance.
Yeah,
I think that they are they're a top 4 team in the country, so that gives them better odds than other teams. But I mean, to make a Final Four, a lot of things. You have to be playing great basketball, and you have to have a favorable path, probably. So it's hard to talk about making the Final Four until we see who we're going to play in the tournament, obviously. But the team is outstanding. Defense takes you a long way. Guard play takes you a long way. Check both those boxes. So I think they have
We got a call coming in, Joe.
Okay, let me answer this first. But yes, I think that they're on the way, and what does it take from them? Great defense and great guard play. There you go.
All right, we got a call coming in. Oh, we missed it.
Maybe
they'll call back.
They'll call back. But I guess to elaborate on it now that I can, to make a run in the NCAA tournament, clearly you need 3 things, and I kind of touched on them all. The right path, because everyone talks about how some paths are easier than others, and that's the truth. The right path, and that also goes into its seeding. You know, the difference between a 3 seed and a 1 seed is obviously astronomical. So the right path is number 1. Number 2 is defense. Talked about that. We have great defense. I think we're in KenPom. We might be number 1 in defense. So we have a great defense. Obviously, I mean that's a no-brainer. That's year in and year out. Chris Holtman staple. We have great defense, and that means we'll be in every single game. And then finally, guard play. Which last year we had good guards. We had really good guards. We had tournament guards. This year I think we have maybe a step up. That's not a knock to the guys last year because those are some of my closest friends, C.J. Jackson, Keyshawn Woods. Those guys were incredible. But I think there's just something about the number and the confidence of these young guys and this almost like a cocky swagger that they have, whether it's a Dwayne or Luther being a year older, or it's DJ Carton or CJ Walker who are getting their first taste as Buckeyes. I just think that guard play, both offensively and defensively, is something that is a strength for us. And then obviously, when you have a dominant big man, that helps too. So
I think you need to. I think obviously who you play and where you play is important also. And the best way to take care of that is if the Buckeyes can win the Big Ten, they can put themselves in the best position to then get to the Final Four.
Yeah, and if they win the Big Ten tournament, that's huge momentum going into the tournament.
So a lot of it needs to happen before they even get to the tournament.
Totally. That's a great question, though. Like, what it takes, that's a great question. Let's see. I'll going off that. What will the starting 5 be pending health during the tournament or going into the tournament time?
I don't think it should be very different.
I think, it won't change. I think, honestly, probably next game it'll be back to the starting lineup that I kind of said it should be, which is
Kyle Young might not be.
Oh, that's true.
Pending surgery.
Everyone will be healthy by the time tournament. Knock on wood. So we'll go C.J. Walker, Luther, Dwayne, Kyle, Caleb, with Andre coming off the bench for Kyle, Dwayne, Luther, or Caleb can come in for any of those guys, and DJ Carton obviously being a huge spark off the bench. So I think those guys, those 5, is a great starting lineup, because you think about a starting lineup, it's not the guys who are finishing the game. Starting lineup, that lineup has a ton of juice, a ton of energy, and a ton of scoring. So, and then you back it up with a guy like Dre who is a Swiss Army knife, could do everything, and then CJ Carton, obviously, who is the Energizer Bunny in terms of giving us a spark off the bench. I think that sets us up for success. Who's your starting lineup, Andrew?
Well, I completely agree with you, and I obviously hope that this doesn't happen, but sometimes if a team hits a wall, loses a couple games in a row, starting lineup could get mixed up, and then they could roll with that moving forward. The only possible change I could see is potentially Holtman wanting to run with
Danny Hummer,
CJ, and DJ to start the game. But I think something drastic would have to happen this season for Carton to be in the starting lineup come tournament time.
And I think DJ has really embraced coming off the bench, because that's the biggest misconception in sports, is coming off the bench, because starting, oh my God, it doesn't matter. It's whoever finishes the game. That's who the coach has the most trust and belief in, and DJ Carton has been finishing games. So
yeah.
Okay, we'll move on.
We'll do 2 more.
What's happened from Villanova to now? Minnesota, Kentucky, and now West Virginia. So many turnovers, rushed out of control drives / shots. This has really only come on in these games. Well, I believe it's been 3 games with 15-plus turnovers. With that, 2 of them going over 20 turnovers. What the hell is going on? Not to quote Aaron Rodgers, my arch nemesis, but we need to relax, everyone.
Well, I'll say this. Kentucky, they won. Okay. So, not an issue.
Yeah.
If you win, that's all that matters.
Throw the ball over 100
Okay,
times.
today we know that West Virginia likes
That's
to
what they
ugly the game up, okay? Make it muddy, make it mucky, make it gross. That's what happens. So you expect a lot of turnovers in a West Virginia game, and if you avoid it, then you're probably going to win. But West Virginia can get in your head, get in your zone, and cause some turnovers. And the Minnesota game, at that time, it might even still be the case, a Big Ten team hadn't won on the road yet.
Yeah.
And
we have Michigan State beat Northwestern. But.
And Ohio State was also due for a loss.
Yeah.
And that Penn State, North Carolina and Penn State were after Villanova, and they won both those games in blowout fashion.
Yeah,
I think people just look at the Villanova game as like the highlight of the season so far, because North Carolina was down a couple guys by the end of the game, and it was just, now we've seen what North Carolina's done since, and Villanova's the highest ranked team that we've played. But I don't know. You got young guys in DJ Carton who turns the ball over a lot. You got offensive fouls when you got big guys like Kyle Young and Caleb Wesson, and I think they'll shore all of that up. But in terms of since the Villanova game, I don't think you can really look at it like
I think young guys turn the ball over. That's an excuse. Now, I know you just kind of said that. It's an excuse, and it's a bad excuse, and no coach will ever – the only time they'll say that is to save their players' confidence, honestly. Turnovers are a part of basketball. Teams go through these stretches. Trust me, I know Coach Holtman very well, and the first thing in practice tomorrow will be catching, pivoting, and passing, because it comes down to the fundamental. You even heard in a huddle, if you watch the game, because Fox Sports 1 goes inside the huddle on some of the timeouts, and he said, catch the ball with your eyes and your feet. That's how we catch the ball. So they will be working on that. Turnovers happen. I mean, yeah, this team is young, but it's also like we're getting everyone's best shot now. And there's something to be said about being frustrated with us losing games and winning close games and losing games maybe we shouldn't have won. That's a good thing, that we are, like we're getting the court stormed on us and stuff. That means you have a really, really good team. We're going to be a top 5, top 10, top 5 team all year long. So they'll figure it out. Coach Holtman and the rest of that staff is so good with adjusting. Turning the ball over was a big problem for us last year, and towards the end of the year, we figured it out, and you realize how important every possession is. That's one thing that maybe a freshman doesn't realize is over the course of the season, you understand that each possession matters, and you don't have to be a hero and hit home runs on every play. You can hit singles and hit single after single after single, and, you'll score more runs. You know what I mean? So that's something that once these guys realize, which they absolutely know, but once they really realize that'll definitely take form. But I'm not worried. But I get what you're saying. I mean, there are a lot of turnovers, but West Virginia, that's what they do. And same with Kentucky. They get after you. So, but yeah, we'll end with this one, and I think this is a pretty good question. To end. We've talked about the turnovers. Other people asked me. Shout out to my boy. I'm blanking on. Forgot who. But there was someone that asked another question about who do you blame when you're turning the ball over like that, and that's not fair because he might have even said like I don't want to single out one person, but turnovers are just a part of the game, and people can have rough days. I just think that just a little self-reckoning, and just you got to look at yourself and just be like, all right, don't hit singles, don't hit home runs, and that'll change everything. But the last question is a football question. In college, should there be a coach's challenge?
I mean, the easy answer is yes, but I personally think that I don't know. I don't know how to answer that one.
I say, why not?
Yeah, yes. Should be the same way.
Yeah, I think.
I also think you should be able to challenge pass interference like you can in the NFL. Especially, I mean, that Oklahoma game.
Well, I don't think you should be able to do it in the NFL.
All right, fair enough. Teach
their own. No, I think why not try and the same way that college and the NBA should be the same. Why not try and make the NCAA and NFL the same? Like, I think in college basketball there should be 4 quarters, just like there's in the NFL. So why not have, like, now that the NBA has a coach challenge, why not have a coach challenge in college basketball? So I don't know. It could solve things. It could make things worse. I don't care. Why not give more rules? Give us all the rules.
I think a rule, if I could change, and this is completely different from the question, if I could change any rule in college sports, I would add a 6th foul to college basketball.
I like that. Yeah,
because it just takes the talent. It takes the talent off the floor, which sucks with the 5 fouls. All right, thank you guys for calling in. Thank
awesome.
you guys
we'll do that again.
for asking us your questions.
And this was not a ploy because we don't have a guest. That's not at all what this is.
Definitely not. We
might even have one more caller. Someone texted me. He's like, "I'm going to call."
We have some fun and exciting stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks. You know, football season is over, so hint, hint, wink, wink. Might get some of the football players. Will get some of the football players.
Might get some of the football players not at Ohio State.
True. We'll have a lot of basketball talk because we have nothing else to talk about.
It's basketball season. No. It's basketball season.
It is basketball season. We have nothing else to talk about.
It's basketball season.
We got a shirt coming soon.
Yeah, we have a shirt coming soon.
We promise. I know we've been saying that, but we actually have a shirt coming soon, and you guys are going to get to buy these shirts and wear them.
Yeah, you're gonna buy the shit out of these shirts.
the shit out of these shirts. Joey, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, let's close with this. Let's put everything in perspective. If you're listening to this, most likely you're either a fan of ours, which is, there's 4 of you. Oh, we got the last call. Here we go.
Is this your buddy?
Yeah.
All right.
And then I'll give my closing.
Oh, he hung up.
Oh, my God, he hung up.
All right, keep going.
Okay, we'll just act like that didn't happen.
If you're listening to this.
Yeah, so if you're listening to this, you are either a fan of ours, which there's a low possibility of that, or more specifically, a fan of Ohio State athletics. And we are in the golden age of Ohio State athletics in terms of it is an expectation we are getting to the playoff every year. And so that's why we're so sad when they don't win these games. So it's a great, great thing that you're an Ohio State fan. Just like in Ohio State hoops now that's on the rise, you expect great things. It is a great thing that you're an Ohio State fan because the alternative is way, way worse. You could be a Michigan fan. You could be an Indiana fan. You could be an Illinois fan. Whatever other Midwest, states you could be. Instead, you are lucky enough to be an Ohio State Buckeye fan. And for that, you should be very, very grateful because there will be so many other great, great sporting events to look forward to. Would you rather be sad that you lost the college football playoff or be sad that your team didn't make a bowl game? Right? So let's put it all in perspective. I'm so happy to be a Buckeye. Every day is a great day to wake up and be an Ohio State Buckeye or a Missouri Tiger. Shout out to Illinois. They are frauds.
They are frauds.
But yes, go Bucks forever and always. Be happy that we are able to have these moments because other teams would die for them. Okay? Okay.
Buckle up.
Go Bucks.
Drive the lane.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe below to get the latest videos from Lettermen Row.
We got Letterman Live, we've got the practice report, we got rapid reaction. Hey, and you know we got Buck IQ with Zach Bourne.
For sure. We got recruiting breakdowns with Berm. We got whatever you need. Ohio State football and Ohio State athletics, we've got you covered here at Lettermen Row.